Guys, what is going on? I hope you guys are well. So we've just witnessed the fight between Luke Campbell and Ryan Garcia. Garcia gets the knockout in the seventh round. I did predict that Garcia, I thought, would probably knock Campbell out and get a victory by knockout, just because I thought Garcia was explosive. And you got to give credit to Garcia. He came back from a knockdown. It was a heavy knockdown as well. I thought he was out. I thought Garcia looked like, he recovered well, and then he came and he was the aggressor the whole of the fight. He was the one that was coming on the front foot. Campbell was on the back foot. I think the fight was there for the taking for Campbell, and I'm not going to discredit Garcia. He came back from a heavy knockdown and he knocked Campbell out. Fair play to him. You got to give him credit, and you've got to say the boy's got heart. But in terms of what I saw from Garcia, I've got to be honest with you. Although we beat him and he came back, I wasn't that impressed. If you look at the way he was fighting, he was very wild at times. Luke was making him miss a lot. He was very open. He was literally getting caught so much with the left hand. And he was getting caught way too much. And Campbell at times was, I wouldn't say schooling him, because Garcia was on the front foot. I just think Campbell's not a big puncher. And I just think guys can walk him down. And that's what Garcia was doing. He was walking him down and just landing wild shots. And that's why I felt Garcia got clipped, and he was getting clipped. I don't think that was the only time he got hurt, by the way. I think he took Campbell's power after he got hurt well. But the amount he was getting caught and how wild Luke was making him look, like he was missing wildly at times. And I do question how good a boxer he is, because he was being made to look very wild in there. Look, I give him a lot of credit for his heart and his determination, but you've got to say, against top-level elite guys, when you're that open, it's not even so much the chin, it's that when you're that open, they're going to knock you out. He's very, very open, right? He literally had no defense. The left hand couldn't miss him. The left hand from Luke Campbell couldn't miss him. And even like looping left hands that Campbell dropped him with, they were landing. And those type of punches shouldn't be landing. I do question, listen, I don't want to probably get a lot of criticism for saying that. I do question how good Ryan Garcia is. And if you watch that fight, I do think a lot of people will be questioning how good he really is, because although he showed a lot of heart and he showed he can get put down and he can come back from it, and we didn't know that. The fact is, there's definitely a vulnerability there. We know he can be hit and hurt. We know that his defense isn't that great. He got caught with a lot of punches, too many punches. And when he's punching, he's quick, but he's very wild, and a good boxer would be able to avoid and make him pay. So I don't know. For me, I don't know whether, even though he won the fight and he beat Campbell, I don't know what my opinion is of him, because I just think that against someone like Teofimo Lopez, who's a big puncher, who also showed he's a good boxer and got a good boxing IQ, I can't see Garcia winning. I can't see him winning against Tank Davis. Just because I think that Davis hits too hard, and I think Davis would knock him out. And the way Ryan Garcia dropped there, Davis will knock Garcia out, as far as I'm concerned. And against Devin Haney, I think Devin Haney is the better boxer. But Devin Haney can't punch. So maybe Garcia could overwhelm him like he did with Campbell. But in terms of Campbell, I think Campbell will be kicking himself, because that was a golden opportunity for Campbell to really win that fight. He had him down heavy in the second. Garcia was also looked very wild, and Campbell had a great opportunity to win this fight. He will be kicking himself. He will be kicking himself massively. I like I said, Campbell had a great opportunity to win that fight. I think what Campbell lacks, from my opinion, personally, watching him over his career, I don't think he's got a killer instinct. He hurt Ryan Garcia, and he didn't really step on the gas. He was fighting majority of the fight on the back foot, and I don't think he's a big puncher, and he's not very explosive. Do you see what I mean? He's a good boxer. He does everything well, but he's not explosive. Do you see where I'm coming from? Although he dropped him with a great left hand, he's a good boxer, good amateur Olympic gold medalist, but I just don't think he has that there's something missing in terms of his explosiveness. I just to be honest with you, I think Campbell missed a golden opportunity there. I think Campbell lacks that like I said, lacks that killer instinct. And if he had that killer instinct, I think he would have knocked Garcia out, because like I said, Garcia was there for the taking. You know, he was open, he was getting caught with so many shots. And to be honest with you, I'm surprised that Campbell, having that experience and that amateur background that Campbell has, I'm quite surprised he didn't knock Garcia out. But that again just shows that Campbell's not a big puncher, and that's another big worry, because Campbell isn't a big puncher, and he had Garcia down hard, and that wasn't because of the fact that it was a huge blow of Campbell. It was the fact that Garcia got caught flush on the button, because his defense was literally open, and he was there. You could see the punches. You could see the punches. He was open. You know, he was open, man. And that was a big, although he's come through it, and you got to give him credit because he's come through it. At the end of the day, even if you look bad and you don't look that great, you won the fight. So that's what matters. He's managed to get through. Now, if a loss would have been a disastrous thing for Ryan Garcia, but he's won the fight. So that in itself, you've got to give him credit. You've got to give him credit, the fact that he came through adversity. And as he said, he's never been dropped before, and he got dropped hard, and he came back from it to win the fight. And that was a sickening body shot to finish it. But I think Campbell may be kicking himself, because I'm not sure whether Campbell's going to get another opportunity like that, personally. And yeah, I think Campbell will be kicking himself personally. I think that was a great opportunity for him to do a job on Ryan Garcia. It was, having someone down that heavy in the second round. And to be honest, Ryan Garcia looked hurt from that punch. And I think Ryan Garcia realized at that moment, welcome to a good time. But again, he managed to gain his composure, get his bearings back together. And he started becoming the aggressor again. And that's why I didn't understand. I didn't understand why Luke Campbell was giving up so much ground, was fighting on the back foot. Just the tactics were a bit bizarre for me. They were very bizarre, just because I think, you need to let the kid know that, you're in the big time now. And I feel like Campbell was making Garcia miss quite a bit. But I just think that, like I said, that killer instinct, I don't believe Campbell has that. And I think that cost him. I think if he had that killer instinct tonight, and he was a bigger puncher than what he is, I think he would have stopped Garcia. I do. And that's not taking away from Ryan Garcia. I just think there's big weaknesses in his game. What I saw today, that I think someone like a Haney, Tank, and Teofimo will take advantage. And I even think Lomachenko would be too much for him, if I'm totally honest with you. The only thing about Lomachenko is the fact that Garcia, he keeps coming forward, and he puts a lot of pressure on you. So could he potentially overwhelm? I think Lomachenko's a different beast to Luke, though. So I don't see it. I think if he comes on to Lomachenko like that, I think he's gonna walk onto something. Even though Lomachenko's not a big puncher, I just think Lomachenko's too skilled. And when a guy's that open, he's gonna be landing punches at will. I even think a fight with Linares, although Linares is old and Linares is vulnerable himself now, I think that would be a very dangerous fight, because Linares has got fast hands. And he is explosive. Linares is explosive, and that could be a very dangerous fight for Ryan Garcia. Like I said, for me, at the minute, he got the win, but I'm not sure. And I'd love to know your guys' opinion, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to have the jury out with him. I'm not quite the jury out, because he's won the fight, and I think he deserves another opportunity at one of the big boys first, before we start making conclusions on what we think about him. But that was definitely a fight where you look at it and you saw a lot of holes in Ryan Garcia. But again, he ticked the big box, and that's the heart. To come back from a knockdown to win, and not just to come back from a knockdown to recover, and then to become the aggressor and actually be like, all right, you hurt me, I'm going to put you on the back foot now. That was impressive. But how much was that down to the fact that was Ryan fighting Luke Campbell, and Luke Campbell doesn't have that killer instinct? If it was a Gervonta Davis in there, would he still have been able to do that? Or would Gervonta Davis have taken advantage of putting him down that heavy. I think so. I think so. I think Gervonta Davis would have been a different kettle of fish. I think Lomachenko's a different kettle of fish. I'm disappointed for Campbell. Because you know what? I thought Ryan Garcia would win by knockout. But when I saw that knockdown in the second round, I thought Campbell's got this. And what I meant by he's got this, I just looked at Ryan Garcia and he looked very open. He looked there for the taking. Unfortunately, like I said, Campbell, he lacks that killer instinct. And if he had that explosiveness, that killer instinct, I believe he would be able to beat all of these guys. But I think he lacks something at that top level. I think he lacks that killer instinct, unfortunately, and I think that's probably cost him the fight. I just fighting on the back foot. I think he should have been fighting in the center of the ring, using his boxing ability, using his jab, using his height, range. But unfortunately, he was just fighting on the back foot, backing up, giving Ryan Garcia, he was giving Ryan Garcia the initiative, and I was left. Oh man, I thought Campbell could have won that. I thought Campbell definitely should have won. Listen, man, give credit to Garcia for doing what he did, but I think Campbell should have won. Personally, I think Campbell had many opportunities there to in my opinion, jump on some of those mistakes that Garcia was making. But Garcia came through it, bit down on the gum shield, and beat Luke Campbell with a sickening body shot. Fair play to Garcia. You got to give him credit. But again, you've got to question, do you think Ryan Garcia beats Tank Davis? Do you think Ryan Garcia beats Devin Haney? Do you think Ryan Garcia beats Lomachenko? Do you basically think Ryan Garcia beats any of the champions right now? For me, I don't think so. I think the best chance he would have is against Haney, because of the fact that Haney's not a big puncher and Ryan Garcia is fast. And he could potentially outwork you, but again, he's very wild with those punches. So Haney probably has enough power to hurt Garcia, personally, because Luke Campbell's not a big puncher, is he? He's not a big puncher. But yeah, the good fight. It was a good, exciting fight. Action both ways, but it was a competitive fight for sure. But I just think Ryan Garcia had a bit more youth, speed, a bit more explosiveness, and he was more hungrier, because to come back from a heavy knockdown like that, you've got to say he had heart. He had a lot of heart, and he was probably the more hungry fighter. And maybe this fight for Luke has come maybe 2 or 3 years too late. Possibly, but again, you've got to give Garcia credit. He managed to get the win, irrespective of what you saw during the fight. He managed to get the win, and that's all that matters. When you win, you go on to bigger, better things. And I don't know where Luke Campbell goes from here now. I don't know. He might call it a day. He might pack it in, just because of the fact that I think to lose to Ryan Garcia, who was a up and coming prospect, you're not going to get another chance at world level, most likely not, unless he wants to work his way. Who knows? But I don't know. I don't think he can beat any of the top guys, unfortunately. I just don't think Luke Campbell has that killer instinct that he needed. If he had that, I think he would be among and be able to beat anyone. I just don't think he has. I don't think he has what it takes to beat some of those top guys. But what do you guys make of the performance from Campbell, Garcia? What do you guys make of it? Do you think Ryan Garcia is the truth? Do you think Ryan Garcia will get beat by the other top lightweights? Or do you think Ryan Garcia is the truth after watching that and him coming back from a heavy knockdown? You think that showed you a lot? What do you guys make of his performance? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think, guys, in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.